Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Bevan Marshall. How many of you can recall the America's Cup defence off the coast of Fremantle in 1987? Whoever answered that question will get this book if they want it. Alan Bond was previously the team captain for both Royal Perth Yacht Club and mounted the America's Cup Challenge back in 1983, when the design of the wing keel fitted to Australia 2 helped defeat the might of the US yachting industry. Now it was payback time. The Americans were returning to claim their hallowed mug. Alan Bond, ever the dreamer, had purchased 81% of Airship Industries, claiming the Skyship 600 non-rigid airship as his own to record the 1987 America's Cup Challenge of Fremantle. He was going to kick back and be able to record it from the Skyship 600 in our own backyard. What is a non-rigid airship, you might ask? Well, let me take you back to 1983 when I became involved as a CAA. I think it was CAA. I've got some people there from ex-CAA. We had 9 different names in 10 years. The Department of Aviation, Department of Transport, the Civil Aviation Safety Authority, and I was tasked with certifying the Skyship 600 when it first landed in Australia. I was tasked to confirm that it was legal to operate as an Australian aircraft. First, let me reacquaint you with the forerunner, the rigid airships like Zeppelin. They were constructed of aluminium internal framework covered with dope fabric, and they contained hydrogen gas for buoyancy. Hydrogen gas had 27% more lifting capabilities over helium, but it was highly inflammable, as we saw in the Lakehurst, USA, 6th of May 1937. The first time I saw a non-rigid airship, it was like a giant 59 metre deflated condom, just lying on the ground, just like a giant condom. And into it they pumped 6,666 cubic metres of incredibly expensive helium to attain its recognisable shape of the Skyship 600, like a giant party balloon. The outer skin is flexible. It's a layered titanium oxide, while the internal membrane is a polyester coated with saran. Helium will migrate through any fabric, as helium is required to be 99% effective to create lifted and non-rigid airship. It is essential that no leakage occurs. As I stated, the internal membrane that contains the helium is coated with a polymer substance called saran, which you may recognise. I'm sure you know it. It's the same as this. So you've got airship material at home in your kitchen glad wrap. As you may be aware, the principles of flight depend on the helium gas expanding as it descends and contracting as it descends. I'm sure you've seen party balloons rapidly rising to explode at altitude when the structural integrity of the non-rigid balloon fails. I can recall back in the 1980s, one of the Perth radio stations here had a promo releasing party balloons with lottery tickets attached. Or one of my RC colleagues, Greg Casser here at Jam Club, he was out walking at lunchtime and poof, one of the balloons burst and the balloon fell down, the lottery ticket fell down and he won the lottery from it. This factor could cause serious structural problems to the envelope of the Skyship, both climbing and descending. So the pressures within is required to be maintained accurately to control the internal. They have 2 ballonets. See the blue bags? They're called ballonets. They're internal bags located one fore and one aft inside the helium envelope, and they are inflated with ram air from the slipstream of the propellers or by an electrical pump at low forward speed. One important product of the ballonet operation through the differential inflation pressure, it's to measure the pitch that can be attained. If you were to pump air into the forward ballonet, the aft ballonet deflates and the helium will be displaced backwards, making the ship nose heavy and tail light, and vice versa. However, their primary function is to maintain the pressure and retain the shape of the envelope, compensating for the expansion and contraction of the helium space. The pressure control is by 4 large valves in the skin that open automatically as the ship climbs, allowing the ballonets to collapse as the helium expands. On descent, the internal trunking allows the air to be admitted into the balloon, thus maintaining the ship's sky-shaped profile as the helium contracts. The Skyship 600 had a gondola. It had a crew, 2 people and 16 passengers, and suspended to the outer envelope by Kevlar cables. They're the Kevlar cables that hang down inside. These multiple cables are no thicker than a water ski rope, and they are swayed to prevent the gondola to support it. Just scary when I saw them installed. That's the gondola, and that's the gentleman swaging the Kevlar suspension. The gondola has 2 Porsche engines, 2 960 67A 1-3 190 kilowatt turbocharged engines driving 5-bladed Hoffman ducted propellers. That's the gondola attached to the airship, and they've got ducted fans. They can be angled up 90 degrees or down 120 degrees. These ducted fans are used to assist in takeoff. Usually on takeoff they angle up about 40 degrees. You can see there how they angle them down to climb out. I was rewarded with a chance to fly the Skyship, and my impression was mirrored with an aviation writer who said, "I tested the yoke, which is connected by about 100 miles of braided wire cable to large rudders and elevators, and rewarded with a rock-hard resistance. Cranking in what seemed like an appropriate amount of left rudder, I waited and I waited and I waited. Nothing happened. Half an hour or so of the controls, even in light winds, will certainly tone up the pilot's arm muscles. Since the Skyship has no aileron, turns are effected with rudder, and the only thing the airship virtually skids through a turn, since it enjoys a low centre of gravity, and the pendulum effect results in a swing towards the outside of the turn. The Skyship cruises at 92.59 kilometres per hour with a surface ceiling of 3,050 metres. Landing and tethering the airship is by the nose cone. They have ropes hanging down, and as the airship comes in, they have 2 teams of 3 runners on the ground, and they form a V formation. And as they come up, they grasp the attaching more ropes and gently manoeuvre the locking pin on the nose. That's the elevators, the balloon inside. That's the nose cone that locks into the control tower, the tower when they come in. All in all, an interesting component of my life. Incidentally, the Americans beat the Australian team and took the old mug back to the US.